We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
James Woods can say is, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. When a ball turned into a vampire, all James Woods could say was, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. When he became Peter's best friend, they sat around the house and said, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. And you know that James Woods practices laundry well, but everything that he reads becomes real hard to spell. Everyone tries to help him, but the words just won't come out. There's only one thing he can think of, and it's what comes out his mouth. Ooh, a piece of candy, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. When he comes out of his house, the women scream and shout, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. When they know that he's an actor, the best of them all, when he says, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. Reese's Pieces on the floor and watch him come a saying, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. And you know that James Woods practices laundry well, but everything that he reads becomes real hard to spell. Everyone tries to help him, but the words just won't come out. There's only one thing he can think of, and it's what comes out his mouth. Oh! Ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. When he comes out of his house, the women scream and shout, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy.
seen things you people wouldn't believe.
So, a creature for my amusement. Prepare for battle.
Fucking thing sucks!
Oh, poopy pants, poopy pants, poopy pants, poopy pants. Oh, we're suckling from the devil's teats tonight, y'all. What? Shit. Woo, I'm happier than a tick on a fat ass bloodhound or whatever dog that comes to mind. Woo! I gotta tell you, this shit hit during the open. I was like, uh-oh. There's gonna be some trouble in River City. But it's alright. That's what this show's about. If you fuck up, it's all by design. Wink. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Extra Bulla, Bullets, Booyah, Bass, Bombity Bing Bang it Bing, whatever the fuck. I don't know what the name of the show is. Eventually, folks are going to show up here. Just to remind folks out there, we're like kind of all over the place tonight. We're here on YouTube, and we're also live on Twitch, where a couple of naughty boys got the 86. So now I get to be up in here and corrupt these kids. No, I'm kidding. Play your video games. Don't listen to your mom and dad. They're weirdos. So we're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. We're streaming on Facebook. Nobody's watching that probably. And Twitter, some rando's going to come across that and go, oh, cool. And maybe watch 5 minutes and then, probably go back to bong rips. But it's fine. We don't judge around here. Charlie Brown's Rebellion in the chat. What's going on? Good sir. Edibles for the win. Hey now. Yes, we are riding on edibles. And normally I would be nervous because I usually have a little bit more serious folks on the show. Not to say that my guest tonight is not a serious person, but you get a vibe off of people when you talk to them for the first time, right? Sometimes it's just like normal conversation thing. You don't want to put all your weird shit out there. You just put out little nibbles. You see how much they can take. Just a little bit. You don't want to make them OD on the shit and then they don't come back. But this one I said, fuck it. I'm just throwing a whole lot at her. And she went, nom, nom, nom. Like she's fucking Cookie Monster on that weird shit. I love it. Hopefully this works. We're going to see. Dun, 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 dun. What?
It's me.
Who's that girl? Bess Goden, but I always want to call her Bess Goddess because she is the best of all the goddesses. Kitty likes to scratch. I'm so dirty. The fuck is going on? This show's already off the rails. I love it. How are you doing, young lady? It's good to see you.
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. Like I said, had a little bit of the edible goodies a little while ago. That's starting to peak right about now. The Funk Soul Brother, check it out now. The Funk Soul Brother, right about now. That was Fat Boy Slim for the kiddies out there. It was butchered Fat Boy Slim. Yeah, I'm feeling great. I've been wanting to have you on for a while, but I was too shy. It's like asking somebody to prom. They're really cool, but you're still afraid of rejection. So I sent the note to you that said, will you be on the show? Check this box, yes, no, and then you wrote in maybe, and then X'd it. Are you had that?
Exclamation point, don't even front, stop.
I was about to say you're the host of Millennialsplaining, right? So tell me about that show. What's that about?
Oh, well, Millennialsplaining is basically my way to scream into the void. I feel that millennials in general came of age during the recession depression, as I like to call it, and we because of that have not had a chance at the national microphone. And a lot of the ways that we were brought up as well have encouraged us to keep our culture kind of on the down low. Like, we don't, if you think of millennials, you don't really think of like, a subculture in the way that you would think of, boomers, hippies, or, even, I don't know, Xers, like punk and hip hop. I don't know, like you wouldn't think of millennials having that, because we didn't have a public microphone to sort of, announce it, but we had things. Anyway, so we are also the generation that owns the least amount of all the generations. We own 5% of this nation's wealth, and you guys own 25%. Boomers own 55%. So that tells you a huge part of the story without me having to squander on any further, because I do not have my serious hat on today. I'll be honest.
That's totally fine.
Go to millennialsplaining.com. Check me out.
It's in all your deets are in the description below. So at least on YouTube. So, but yeah, and we'll also we'll be popping your Twitter thingy up there too. We're totally. That's probably the most serious question you're gonna get tonight, and that might be a little bit scary. I have a fucked up phone, so I knew this thing was gonna, like, as soon as like things got quiet and dramatic, I have two ringtones. One is Sanford and Son, and the other one I think is the theme from Barney Miller. And because only two people call me, so I didn't want to be like in the middle of something serious and all of a sudden, as great as that tune is, a little inappropriate for some things, and I don't want to disappoint you. No, I don't want to. He's here too.
Who is that?
That's Christopher. What? No, you don't know. This Christopher Walken. He's with me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait a minute. He'll say hi to you, my little cherub. Wow. Hello, doll. Where have you been all my life? Wow.
Nice.
And that's the impression part of the show. So what will we do for the next 43 minutes or so?
5 more impressions. I'm kind of disappointed now. Turn on the disappointment.
Can you do impressions of people? Do you have any? Do you have like your favorite one that you haven't done for anybody, or maybe you do all the time?
Oh, I do a lot all the time. Yes, I can do. Let's see, what can I do? I can do Carol Channing.
Stop it! Don't say it. Don't say it unless you mean it. Because see, now it got dramatic and silent, and then all of a sudden,
so my phone goes, "Hello, Jolly." Well, hello.
Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. Oh, that's like, what's this? Have you ever seen what is it? Whose line is it anyway? Like at Ryan's.
Yeah.
I used to watch the one with Drew Carey when he hosted, and they had Ryan Stiles on there, and he would like to do this Carol Channing that was like, oh yes, nice, and it was just like single tear. As a Gen Xer, and I'm in my 50s now, and I don't mind telling people. I brag about it. I'm the 50s. I can make my own lunch. I think about, like, I do stand-up comedy on occasion, and I have to watch the references I make, because all the references that I think are funny are so old. Like, probably someone in your age bracket, it would probably be like, huh? Like, I don't understand what is this Airwolf you speak of? That's a helicopter show, you say? and see, just that's the face, I guess, like, yes, old man, we know, now go take your pills, you said you'd take them this time.
Whoa, it's not that bad, relax.
I like pity party, table for one.
Right then.
I don't know what I was saying there. So yeah, I have two of my nephews that I kind of helped raise because their dad was kind of a piece of shit. They're millennials, right? I think one of them was born 85, the other one was born in 87, right? So I guess they're like kind of early-ish millennials. And there's like divisions within each age group too, really, if you think about it. It's kind of like your early millennials are different from the later millennials as you're going into Gen Z, right? And it's kind of like you have your later Gen Xers that are, born like 78, 79, that kind of thing. I was a little bit more on the early Gen Xer side, 69. Oh yeah. And born in 69. That's what our school class that graduated in 87. We were always just like, yeah, we born in 69, motherfucker. Woo! We cool. And we weren't cool, but 69. But I've noticed that there's like different, like you said, because when my old people got out of high school, started going to college, right? Started accumulating student debt, thinking, our parents and all them, they were able to go to school. They knock out their school payments, whatever, and we'd be making these fat stacks, making money angels on the floor. And that didn't happen because Reagan came along and said, well, we're just going to fuck up everything for you youngsters. He was already like 100 when he became president, and then, he was all senile and shit. But, I mean, do you see that too? Do you see like the divisions, like early and late and all that kind of thing?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I feel like there's, subdivisions amongst the generations. The generations are roughly like 20 years apart, I think. Whereas I feel like there are like 10-year separations. Like you can sort of get along with people 10 years above you, but then there's like a weird cutoff where you've never seen the same shows, and So I don't know. But I feel it because there's definitely some stuff that, like Power Rangers, Pokemons, this kind of shit is what millennials are supposed to love. But I was too old for that, and I was born in 85. So yeah, there's definitely a separation. Yeah.
I think that. I know, right? By the time Pokemon came along, I'm like, I'm a grown ass man. I don't do no Pokemon, and it turns out like a lot of my friends were doing it. And I'm like, no, you're blowing the whole narrative. But I just always found like a kinsmanship with like the early millennials. You know what I mean? Like the real early ones, like you say, around from your age. And a little older, so and that's where we were the testing grounds for the fuckery, and now it seems like for Gen Z that's just going to be that's life. They're born into it, They're born into it, and then whatever the generation after that, they're really like kind of screwed too, because it's like that is all they will know is fuckery. At least my people and a few of your people found some little glimmer of hope, but now that's all fucked to hell. I'm Mr. Positive. Sorry. I mean, I don't know. Fuck it. I don't want to talk about serious shit. Fuck that. What do you want to talk about?
I don't even know.
No, it's fine. I got some shit in the can. We're all right. I'm a functional.
I have stories about my life. I've lived a crazy ass life. You can ask me some questions, and I'll tell you some weird stories.
Well, tell me my business, woman. I got this. All right. All
right, shit. Sorry.
Look, I already got a question. Okay, I got one for you. I don't need your help. So tell me about your life. What kind of a life did you lead? See, I gave you the Hollywood squares. I give you like the fake shit up front, and then I give you the for reals at the end. That's how I roll. No, please.
So you're asking for like my autobiography right now? Is that what?
Yeah, your whole life story. We have until like at least 11 o'clock. So your whole life story. What was it like being in the womb, traveling through the birth canal, and then seeing the light and saying, "Fuck this! I want to go back in." Was there any like?
So we're already off to a weird start.
Did you use a grappling hook to get out? I mean, or was it like one of those things? Or was it like a piñata kind of thing? I don't even know how that would work. I'm sorry, forget the piñata. No, before we off air, as we used to say in the TV biz, you said you were a theater person, right? And you were a little actress doing your little acting things, right? Yeah.
It didn't go. Yes, I was a theater major in college, so you can imagine how extraordinarily useful that was when I graduated in 2007.
Right. I got a degree in communications. I was one of these people. It's like they say you work at a grocery store first, and then you have a career. It was like I did the reverse. It was like I actually used my degree for about 12 years. I worked in TV, like in TV news production, and
you caught the boom period in the 90s. Fuck you a little bit.
I did, right? And then I got out while the getting was good because, well, first off, I got laid off, so I didn't really have a choice. But I didn't try to stay in TV anywhere. It was just because you could see the writing was on the wall that even the local stations, you'll get stories in that, yeah. Well, have you seen that? What was that video? They were showing like 50 different TV stations were running the same news story, and they were using the same lead-in, and it was like some corporate story or something. A lot of that was starting to seep in. Ours was our station was a mom and pop, right? It was like owned by some local dude. He was like a radio guy, had owned some radio stations too, and then he sold it to like a regional, not chain, but it was corporate local TV that had like some stations within the Southeast, right? That's where I was. I was down in Mississippi doing TV news, and I got out in 2003, went to LA, and I tried to do stand up, and I found out, well, I don't think stand up's for me. I think doing something like this is for me, but I think I got out of TV at a good time because now I just see it's such a grind too. It's like, unless you're on TV, you don't make dick for money at a TV station. Like, you work in production, if you're like a camera person or whatever, or even just like some sort of associate producer or something like that, on the local level, you're not going to make that much money. So, but if you're on air, you make a bunch. So, but the point of all that was, I was in the 90s. I did all that, and then by 2003, that's when Bush had been president for 3 years, and you could see it. You could see the shitstorm on the horizon. Just like coming in, like something out of a science fiction movie. Like it's like Mad Max, but instead of dust, it's like just shit coming. There's lightning made out of shit.
See, that took me completely by surprise because I was not anywhere near politically aware of. 2003 is when I graduated high school. I had no fucking idea. I thought we were still in the 90s.com boom. I thought I could fucking go to college to be a theater major, and I don't know what kind of job was I going to get on Broadway. I just was I gonna be in the fat Rockettes? What did I think I was gonna do with my theater degree? I have no idea.
I tried out for the fat Rockettes, because I ain't skinny, and They said no dice precious because they didn't. I'm 6'4". They didn't really have a thing to fit me because I'm not long-legged. It's an illusion. I have a really tall top, but I have like normal legs, and the Rockettes, they have like 9-foot legs. But no, I hear you with that. Like, actually, now that theater degree would do you better than in the old days, because back in the old days it was like who you knew. That's always number one, who you know, right? So if you got an in, you don't really matter if you got a degree or not, because you can just work your way up. You just got to get that foot in the door, right? And and sometimes a degree will do that. Like if people laugh, oh, she's got a theater degree, but it's like, no, fucker. Sometimes people look for that shit, right? So it's not like it's a dumb decision. It's dumb. Thank you, though. No, I try to defend me, but it was stupid. I fucking admit it. Well, because when I was growing up in I definitely middle class, like upper middle class. Like my mom taught at a private school, so I went to private school. Even though I had no fucking business at a private school, really, like monetarily speaking. So I just grew up in this, privileged bubble and expected, like I was interested in studying the art, like right. I was gonna go and fucking do Shakespeare and sing opera. I did. I have. But why did I think I was going to do that for a living? I have no idea, because it drives me fucking insane. Did you grow up in the area? Like you've been close to Broadway your whole life, right? Oh yeah. I live in Central Jersey. I'm like an hour outside the city. I've always lived here. Okay. And so Jersey has a crazy secret. They essentially have like this like military style boot camp of underground like actual theater camps for children, and these are children that they train from a very young age to eventually be like Broadway singer dancers. And these are kids that are getting in commercials. These are kids that are getting like on Broadway, Tiny Tim on Broadway and the Christmas Carol, like all that stuff, Annie and stuff. Like these people are coming from Central Jersey, a lot of them, because there is just the competition here is high. It is fucking high. Like I went to college with 2 different Miss New Jerseys. I was taught tap class by 2 different ex-Rockettes. I went to like the top regional theater in New Jersey, which is Paper Mill Playhouse. They have a summer program, which is extremely prestigious when you're 12, and but some of the people that went to that camp turned out to be like the Eisenberg girl that was in a few movies. She was like a child actress. And then oh god, what's her name? Who is what is her name? Eisenberg? No, I don't know. No. No. Fucking from the Princess Diaries, or like Les Mis. What the hell is her name? That's Anne Hathaway. Oh, that's not Eisenberg. It's like, wait a minute. No. You went to school with Anne Hathaway? I didn't go the same year, but I went to the same school, yes. Oh, cool. Yeah, so it was a theater, like a theater program, So it was like essentially 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day. You have hour-long classes. You go to like a musical theater class where you learn how to act songs. You go to like a voice lesson where you learn how to sing. You go to like different dance classes, different movement classes. You go to scene work classes. It's like being in college. But I was, 13, 14. Wow. And this stuff is common. They start kids like really young. They start kids like, maybe around, I guess, like 3rd grade. Jeez. They start kids really young. So there's a whole community of people here in New Jersey that are, have been brought up this way. And a lot of them eventually go into the industry to do other shit. And some of them end up being actors, and then some of them don't. You know,
go absolutely nutty fucking crazy like I did. So,
well, I mean, like, what are you still pursuing that to a certain degree, or or do your interests lie more in what you're doing now?
Well, no, I mean, I sort of fell into what I do now. I take care of a special needs girl who's in a wheelchair, and she's what they call nonverbal. She can sort of speak and make sounds, but she doesn't really speak like fluently. So I love her. I love her a lot, and I've had a really I would say generally fulfilling time, like teaching her how to communicate with me and stuff like that. And I've done a lot with her. I made a lot of progress with her. But, you know, that was never my life goal. I mean,
well, right.
So I, you know, for a while I was going to be a children's book author, and that's still a dream that I have,
cool.
to write children. Yeah. And I actually, I had a internship at the imprint and Scholastic that published Harry Potter in America. I did that for a year. That was really cool. And then I asked them for a job, and then she laughed in my face. She's like, "We don't have the budget for that." For years, I was like,
I know, right? It's like the shit you really want to do. Nobody has the budget to hire you for that kind of sort of thing. Or if they do, they already have people in there, and you have to wait years to get in there. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean that.
I think
go ahead.
Publishers in New York City. I mean, I went to like, you know, the main building. You know, I was working in like the main Scholastic building.
Right.
So I would have hoped that they, you know, would have had some room, because they should have. In better years, they would have. Honestly, in better years, they would have, because the things that I was doing was what a full paid assistant was doing for her boss, essentially,
yeah.
Right? So she also needed assistance. She just didn't have the money for it. So anyway, so that's where life took me after theater, because I got out of theater for many reasons, but one of them was I didn't like the stories that were being told. I don't like a lot of modern Broadway stuff. I don't like, you know, even the stuff that I used to like when I was younger. Now, having, you know, gone through some harder times, seem privileged to me. And it seems like the people who are making theater nowadays, especially, have the privilege to make theater nowadays, are making extremely privileged theater. And they're stories that I'm not anywhere near interested in telling. And it was very difficult for me to find material when I was working, you know, like in classes and stuff like that. You know, I'm not a stereotypical ingenue. Definitely not. I'm definitely a character actress, and most of those parts are 40 to 50 years old and upwards. Yeah. So what was I going to do until then, right? So anyway, so that was part of the process. Part of it was because my parents passed away, and I had some issues with that. And you know, theater is really a dog eat dog world, and I just couldn't live like that. So, you know, I still love musicals. I still have a great voice. I still sing pretty much 8 hours a day for the girl that I take care of. I sing Disney songs to her all the time.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's how I've gotten her to be able to say like 3 and 4 syllable words now, is that we sing songs together, Disney songs. So
will you sing me a Disney princess song just for me, please?
I would love to do a song. Are you sure that you want a Disney song on your stream? I don't know if they'll fuck with you.
Like, you're saying your voice is so perfect that it might actually trigger a DMCA? That's what you're saying? You are so fucking conceited. No, fuck you and your Disney ass bullshit song, motherfucker. Coming up in here. Oh, excuse me. Do you got 2 cameras? One for me and one for this big ass ego over here, motherfucker? Oh, look at that. That is some trippy shit. Folks, if you are not taking mushrooms right now, please do so. Bess has brought the psychedelic coloring. You were holding that up to your face, and then it went wow, 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 like it was something out of like Flash Gordon. Yeah, it was like trippy, man. What? You like purple? You're like you love purple, right? I think that's pretty obvious, right?
Clearly, there are pink girls and there are purple girls. I'm clearly a purple girl. Thank you.
My sweet pea, she's a purple girl too. And you know what? It's funny. When I was a kid, because I'm a ginger. We don't say ginger, we say ginger with an A. And so when I was a kid, I was super big time ginger, right? And so my favorite color back then was red. And then I got into like my 20s and my 30s, and I don't know, my mood was changed, right? So then my favorite color became blue. But now, like as I get into my golden years, as I'm getting ready to go out to that pasture, my color now is purple, right? So I have a purple case on my phone. I love purple. I love that. I like what you got going on right there. I love that.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, purple sisters. I love it.
Make a wish. Make a wish. I know, but isn't that weird how that works? It's like you start off with one color, then you go to another color, and then it has that. Or have you always been like purple girl since like day one?
You know, that's a good question. Honestly, no. When I was more into sometimes red and sometimes blue, but they push you into pink or purple when you're a girl. Right. So I was purple because I'm not a fucking pink girl. I'm not a pink lady. Thank you so much. So, you know, I just really fell in love with like bold color combinations. So this color combination, the yellow, the purple, and the teal are my Millennialsplaining colors, and they're my favorite color combination.
Yeah, I mean the earrings too are nice. That's that you got like a little pop right there, you know. So you know. Yeah. When I was in college, we had a class as part of my communications studies. It was called media aesthetics. It was really good. It like really told you how to pick out like propaganda and bullshit and commercials and stuff like that. But like there was an example. They had a woman, like it was like a page ad, and it had a woman with a V-neck, like a low cut V-neck. And right under the low-cut V-neck were the words that the advertisers wanted you to read first. So, like, your eyes were drawn down to the words, and then you're like, okay, boom, that's how they would do it, you know. Everything, there's, like in movies and shit like that, there is rarely an accident, like, that they didn't plan. Like, oh, that's pretty cool. That must be, like, a happy accident. And we're like, well, nah, not necessarily, you know. So it's, so it's...
is fueled by statistics, right? Everything is tested and yeah, totally.
Well, see, like back then, because they, you know, the internet and being able to like get all this metadata and all this stuff wasn't available yet. They had to go by psychology mostly. They still do use psychology in advertising and stuff like that, but they also go to like using algorithms and stuff like that. Although I'm not a fan of algorithms, they did bring me to these baby monkey videos. It's like a little baby spider monkey, and he wears a diaper. Or she, I don't know, they wear a diaper. And there's kittens there too. And so this baby monkey takes care of the kittens, right? And he's like petting them, you know, and the kittens, again, they're just like lickety on the monkey. These kittens will lick on the monkey's face, and you're just like, stop it, you fuckers! Oh, you're so cute. But that's the algorithms, because I clicked on one monkey video once, and then all of a sudden they brought me these baby monkey cracks, and I'm like smoking them, you know.
I get it. I'm the same way with like art videos. Weirdly, like I love watching people make art projects that you could make at the store. Like, I don't know why.
I know, right?
They're really fun to watch.
I don't usually, I got out of sitcoms back in the 90s, right? I used to watch Frasier, and I used to watch Seinfeld, those kind of things. And then I stopped watching it, right? I started watching stuff like Mr. Show with Bob and David, and then Chappelle's Show when it came on. I was like, well, now sketch comedy, and it was so good, right? So recently I've been watching the show called Letterkenny, and it's about this rural Canadian town and all the craziness that goes on. But the thing I like about that show is the dialogue is so rapid fire. It's almost like an old Coen Brothers movie, like Raising Arizona, that kind of boom, 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 boom. They don't give you a chance to really recover, and you're sitting there like, what the fuck? And it's all Canadian words and shit, and they even make fun of themselves about saying a boot, and it's so good. But it's like your tastes change. Like you used to do certain things when you were younger. Like obviously you do little kid things, but I'm talking about in your young adulthood. You could do like a whole bunch of shit. Like I could go out and like, I could like drinking back, and I would go to sleep at parties with the beer still in my hand, like my hand was a drink holder, and people would take out a drink and put another drink in there, and my hand wouldn't move, because it's like my brain was saying, yeah, and my brain would say, all right, fucker, you need to rest, but we need to hold on to this beer too. So thanks, brain. Sometimes it worked. But I don't know. I just feel like I like younger people because they have been exposed to more information than I was when I was a kid. Because like when I was a kid, you only had like encyclopedias, and you go to the library and you read books and stuff like that, which is all well and good. But the younger folks have gotten into like the millennials, who were basically born into the internet age, more or less. You got to get a lot more information than we did. So it's like, I feel good that you're educating yourself, but at the same time, a lot of misinformation is getting out there. So it's like people like us, we have to help folks, try to stay away from the bad mojo, come to the force, come join us.
Come to the force. Yeah, like there is plenty of bad mojo on regular TV though, right? Too. So it's every yeah. You gotta sift through it. And you know what? Like I want to tell you what I think. I want you to tell me what you think, but nobody's gonna tell you what you think. So you gotta figure that shit out.
Exactly. Yeah. And they get like all this shit from like all directions, right? And one of the things that made me want to do like this show, which it seems it's a silly concept in a way, but at the same time, it's also like you bring on people and you show them different facets that those folks can not really show on their own shows for the most part, because you usually, it's like when Fiorella and Misty were on here, I told them, I said, yeah, you guys have like really serious shows. You deal with very heavy topics, you need to come to a place. But then that's when Misty started doing her bit show, which is great. I love that. Way too many. We were on last night, way too many drinks. I don't know. And there was a lot of smoking going on. And Steve from Slow News Day was on there, and he had this big giant microphone. It looked like something out of this 80s movie I saw called Top Secret, where they had this giant phone and the guy walks up to it and it's like actually a giant phone. You think it's a camera thing. Anyway, tangent. But I'm just the moral of the story was I don't know. It was, I'm sure it was something. Speaking of which, oh, yeah. You like kitties? Do you like the kits? Look at the one in the middle, upside down, causing trouble, motherfuckers. Kittens on demand, baby. You should get that for your show. Just like you'll be talking about something, just like some random shit, and then all of a sudden, where the fuck did these little bastards come from, you little sons of bitches?
That would have come in useful a few times, for sure.
I'll tell you one that comes in real handy for all these dad jokes I'm putting out here. Yeah, boy, you get them staring ass cows and judgmental ass motherfuckers.
Oh, fucking get out of here. Judgment tonight. We don't need
them
judgment
cows
tonight.
Be like, moo, moo, moo. I want to.
Describing like every gay friend I've ever had right now.
I got this one too. Hey, you motherfuckers! I kill you! I kills you! He says. And then, but if you say something nice and good, I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's. You don't have a color for that?
No, it's just me. It's just me and walking. You know, giving you the aces, the attaboys. You know, like swell job.
Yeah, I'm a little unbalanced. No, you couldn't have yellow maybe or purple.
We're as the kids say, a work in progress. I'm working on the ME. Okay, that's me. And then my colors will present themselves to me, and then I will share to all of you. So. Yes. I had yellow in here. That ginger shit I was telling you about. Woo! What do you got? Some treat? You got some treats on your end, right?
I do. I've got weed here, and then I've got this. Well, it's almost gone now, but it's this. No.
You got ghost whiskey? I see it's $13.99. My girl don't skip, kid. Hell no.
No, it's wine. It's apple wine, actually, from
apple wine. Nice.
Firm. And it's cool because it is 11% alcohol.
Nice.
So, goodbye.
Mine's 22%, but 100% delicious. You got that apple wine. All you need is a stick with a sack on the end of it, and you ride the rails. Drinking that apple. That sounds like some The Band song from the 1970s. He was riding down the train tracks drinking that apple wine.
Like,
I like making up.
Like Arlo Guthrie would have made a movie about it or something.
Traveling down the tracks, drinking apple wine and singing songs about peace and harmony. Yeah. You know what? Listen, I just had the $1 million idea. You're welcome in advance. We're gonna have a night of ad lib karaoke. So it's basically we play some music track that doesn't have words, and you got to make up music words to it, lyrics. What do you think?
No,
Aces?
I'm in.
Yeah.
Aces.
All right.
Again, I do this shit every day, but nobody gets to see it. Right, because it's me and 2 Hungarian chicks and my special needs girl, and they're the only people who get to enjoy the full range of my performance every day. So I'm here for you guys.
You know, we could make that like a regular thing. We could just it could be me and you could host it, right? Yeah. And we'll have special guests on. You know,
I love
it. Right?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. That would be so much fun.
We'll put this head together with your head, because we're putting heads together, and then we'll come up with that plan, and then Bob's your uncle. Yeah.
Bob was my grandpa. Yeah, totally.
I was being English. You ruined the bit. Fuck off. All right. No, you're cool. We still love you, our sweet Bess. Oh, chum. You delightful piece of cheesecake. Wow. I've been ignoring. Yay! Inebriation. I've been ignoring the chat. Let's say hi to some folks in the chat. Noli D, our sister, Charlie Brown's Rebellion. Of course, he's been here since he's the OG. Rafe Brennan. Debate Me, the Debate Me channel. I think they're streaming this too. Yeah.
Go after this?
I don't know.
I don't know. We're gonna find out.
Yeah, we're gonna solve that Scooby-Doo mystery. Lucky Burrito, hello doll, Steve Cutler live. I'm pretty sure they're going live later this evening, so check them out on the YouTubes. I love you too, Nolly D. I can't read the chat. I can't read the chat too much when I'm drinking, because I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? You know, it's like, and then I forget that I'm actually hosting this motherfucker. I'll do that, man. Sometimes I'll read the chat and be like, you know, and then I'll start commenting, and the other person will be like, dude, am I hosting this now? What the fuck's going on here?
That's funny. You type the comments?
Nah, I tried to. But then I have to show you this. I got little shits on my, there's like little labels and shit. So these are hotkeys, right? So I'm afraid to type too much because then I'll end up like putting this shit up, you know, like.
Yes.
And I'm like, fuck, I didn't mean to hit curb. I'm trying to type. I just wanted to throw that in there for you.
Way. That's how ridiculous, I know, but like that song just makes me laugh every time.
It does, right? Look, I managed to binge watch a couple of seasons of Curb, right? And that show is so ridiculous, but I love how they do it because it's like they ad-lib most of it. They have like kind of a skeleton thing that's like, here's point A, we gotta get to this point, then we gotta get this point at the end of the scene, and then the rest of it is just like they trust their talent to ad-lib. And Rick Overton was on a couple weeks ago. He had been on an episode of that, and he was telling us about that. And it was just like, oh my God, that sounds like a dream for me to just make up shit off the spot. I play off of people better than I do just writing shit down and then regurgitating it on stage, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you done stand-up?
I have never done stand-up. I have done improv in like, I don't think I've ever performed improv, actually. I think I've been to improv classes. But no, I've never done stand-up. I've written jokes. And then when I go back and I look at the jokes, I'm like, I'm not sure if anyone else will get this.
Well, yeah, that's like every other comic will say that too, because it's like you try. I think what it is like you have to see, if it's not funny to you,
yeah,
right, how would you think, like, no matter how big your ego is, how do you think someone else would think that funny if you yourself don't think it's funny, right?
I mean, I always think I'm funny. That's not the problem. The problem is, do other people agree with me?
Exactly. Yeah. I know. You go into a situation where it's like, sometimes I'll go into a situation like a party or something. There's a lot of people there I don't know, so I just kind of like, I'll kind of put the radar out first to see if there's any bogeys out there. You know, to see if there's any ne'er-do-wells that are going to be hip to the jive. But then you start listening and you'll hear like a cackle over here, and you hear like, I look for the unique laughs. Like if it's a really weird laugh, then I know that fucker's in for some crazy shit. They like that. They like the stupid stuff. I bet you. Like, man, that's the best damn thing. And then you're like, fuck yeah, we found him. And you sidle over like, hey bud, you know. Nice party, right? Too bad everybody's wearing clothes, right? Yeah, man, everybody take your clothes off. Oh, wait, that was at an orgy I was at, like, about 12 years ago. Sorry. That was funny, too, if you would have seen some of those people naked. I think you would do great. You should come, listen. All right, I got another $1 million idea. You're welcome again. Next time you're in the city, or we'll plan a night sometime in the new year, and we'll do an open mic together. Because you only need like about 3 to 5 minutes, right? So you get 3 to 5 minutes. We'll do an open mic together. We'll feed off of each other. We'll give, but then we'll take. We'll give, but then we'll take. You know what I mean?
I'm into it. Yes, please. That would be awesome.
Oh, it feels good already. I think you would be awesome. I'd love to see you do comedy on stage. Just people be just like, what the fuck just happened here? And I'd be there for it. I'd be in the corner like the cuck with the camera watching the lovers make love and going, yes.
You know.
And the only time you see my face is when the ember of the cigarette is close enough and you see the redness. Yes.
Oh, that's very noir. I love it.
Just like that. Just like that. Oh shit, Colin Radix Carter. He's in the house too. Are you streaming it? We're doing some weird technological shit here tonight. I think we're streaming to like different places. I think we may be in a Dunkin' Donuts somewhere in Brownsville. So, or East New York. Hi! Get yourself a culotta. Those culottes are delicious this time of year.
Don't even joke, they actually are.
Have you ever done, oh yeah, they're tasty. Have you ever done like central casting or anything like that? Like in acting?
Right? Like I have done a lot of comedy, but it's always like musical theater comedy. And, it's like actually an interesting stepping stone between like vaudeville comedy and stand-up. Or sketch comedy, really.
Right.
It's because musical theater had its heyday, right, like in the 50s and 60s. So, not that there's not modern musical theater, and I could really talk about it forever because I've taken too much classes on this bullshit that I don't need to know about. So like if I got up on stage and told a joke, I'd be able to tell if it worked. You know what I'm saying? Like I can read an audience. I can definitely like adjust my performance for an audience, if needed, on my feet and stuff like that. But I've never done my own material in front of an audience, and I've wanted to. Like I said, I've written stuff, but again, I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna go back and look at it. We'll see.
I think you should. I will, like I said, at the very least, I will be there to support you to do that. And what I usually like to do, as far as like, I will like for open mics, you kind of have to just like, you got to put up all your best stuff up front, because you got to get them, because you only got like a little bit amount of time. If you're doing like a 15, 30, 45 minutes, then you can like, do the Ron White storytelling if you want to. But, what I would do when I would go to do
How
comedy.
How tolerant would a male audience be of like period jokes?
You mean like the 1800s, the 1700s, or are you talking about menstruation?
I'm talking about menstruation, yes, honey.
It's menstruation. It's making me wait. That was a little ketchup commercial. And then if you think about it, it's kind of, you could interchange. Shut up, Ma! We don't live here anymore. We're squatting. But what I would do when I go to comedy clubs, like to do open mics, it's the devil coming to get us. I would read the room. I would like kind of like have a drink and just kind of look around the room and listen to how people were. I would listen to different laughs and stuff like that, and so you could kind of tell like what kind of people. And then you look at them like if it's a bunch of like fucking hipsters or something like that. Maybe it's not going to go over well because you got a lot of blue collar jokes and it's probably just going to go over their man buns. And then, but if it's like there was this joint over in Bushwick it was Flushing and Broadway over there by Woodhull Hospital. There was this joint called Don Pedro. And it was literally a condemned building. But the bar was still open in it for some reason, and it had a back room, and we would do comedy back there. So anybody that was coming to a condemned building to see a comedy show, we're pretty sure they were going to have a pretty fucking open mind. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're not picky about their surroundings, at least. So, anyway, so what? So that's how I would have like different kinds of material ready, depending on the crowd. Like if I've been to Don Pedro a few times, they actually did tear the building down now, so it's no longer R.I.P. Don Pedro. But
like,
you could go ahead.
But like, here's my issue with having to do that, right? Like, I only want to make my period jokes. Like, I don't want to have like an array of jokes for different people. Like,
I got you.
Like, my jokes are like, I'm expressing myself, right? Like, so like that's how I felt about theater too, right? So like when you're in theater, especially musical theater, they tell you to have like, a repertoire of stuff you can do at an audition. And I had to have like a classical song, a modern song, a comedy song, and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, I was all these different people, but it was never me, So I guess that's why I started, getting interested in podcasting, honestly. And like, I feel like this is much more of a medium that I can just sort of talk to the people that want to talk to me and then like everybody else can go fuck off because I can't like I'm bored.
No, I hear you. You have a little more. You have a lot more control over the atmosphere and the situation. Right. I that's why I don't like doing stand up per se. I would feel much more comfortable hosting an open mic night than when actually being a participant in the open mic, because then it's just like you can rattle off a couple of 3 just dad jokes or whatever, something stupid, but then you got the next comic up who may lift or bring down the room, so really, like, I think a great place you and I can go to is this place in Long Island City called the Creek and the Cave. You ever heard of that place?
No.
Okay. So there's two levels to the Creek and the Cave, right? And the first level is like there's a main room up there, and pretty decent room. I'd say maybe fits about like 50 people, something like that in there. And then but then downstairs in the basement is where they have the open mic. And what they do is you put your name on a piece of paper and you put it in a bucket. And then they just pull the next name. So it's random. You don't know when you're going to go up, right? Oh, I wasn't there to perform. Me and my lady friend went there. It was loud as fuck. But that shit was like Thunderdome. Okay, so when you're on stage, there's a guy at the piano. It looks like some dystopian piano. And then you got this guy on the other side, this big guy. He may have worn a shirt, I don't know, but he has like this big pitcher of beer and this little table, and he's like kind of like the judge, back there. It's very like Thunderdome. Everybody's there's throwing meat and bones at you and shit, and it's just, I think that's where we need to do it, because I think those period jokes, you have found your Mars rover right there. You have found life on Mars right there. So, and it's easy to get to. So we'll go there one night and we'll do an open mic, and we'll get like nice and shitty beforehand. So if we bomb, who cares? We won't know. So. And I think it'd be so great. And then I'll get my lady friend to video us. That's what us old people say. We're gonna video y'all. Y'all get in the picture now. We're gonna take video, y'all. Or we used to say film, but it's not even film. But I think that'd be great. I want to see your name in lights on Broadway. That's what I want to see. Because you got so much juice, lady. You got juice.
You're so sweet.
You have juice. You have juice. Don't spill your juice. Oh shit. It never goes away. Oh shit. I'm too old. I'm too old to be doing antics like that. What else you got? Come on. What do you want to get off your chest?
Oh my God. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know.
Is there somebody you would want to complain about? You want to bitch at somebody? You want to like digitally spit on someone? Like, look, my mom was old school, right? She's like, her family's like old world people. She would like, her motto was, yeah, you can forgive them, but don't you ever forget that shit. Because, and then she'd do like that evil eye shit on him, and then she'd do the fingers like this, and she'd do that old school, like old world, like dun, 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 like big hoop earrings, and then,
Ooh. Was she Jewish?
No.
She was Jewish? No? Jewish?
No, she was training. She was training. But she once they got to the matzo balls, she was like, no. She couldn't get past the matzah. So
I am completely offended by that statement. How dare you not like matzo balls? That is not okay with me.
But wait. No, that was her. I'm Look, me and you don't care if you're a Jew. Let's rock and roll with the matzo ball. Yay! Do. I love all my Jewish people are awesome. No, Mom hated everybody. She was offering that. She hated a lot of people for no reason. She had a list. Like people just. She had a shit list. A literal. I wrote this shit down on paper. Shit list. Mom did that. Fuck it. You know what I mean? I was like, Mom, what's this? I'd say, Mom, what's it? Who are these people? I learned half my cursing from my mom. She goes, a bunch of motherfuckers I can't stand. I was like, oh, all right, yeah. This bitch is salty. Get me a margarita because I put that salt on the rim. This bitch is salty. We need to do Make Your Shit Up karaoke. We're going to do that, right? You weren't teasing me, were you?
What? To do karaoke? What, to sing the song? I guess
ad lib karaoke, right?
What's you saying right now?
We don't have. Actually, I was in a band with a buddy of mine, and we were the Toots and Tina show, right? And we would do these. Yeah, and we were called the Toots and Tina show, which is a reference to a Mr. Show bit where they had like the guy who was going to blow up the world, and he was on a talk show, and it was called the Toots and Tina show. Anyway, so we did these parody songs. It was like Weird Al, but you know how nice and like wholesome and fun like Weird Al songs. These were like fresh baked in hell. Oh my God, I can't believe you're saying this in the buckle of the Bible Belt in Mississippi kind of shit. And we would have like these shows at this coffee shop. And Shane was the music guy. He'd play all the music, and we wrote like the lyrics together. And we just like there was The Piano Man by Billy Joel. We called it The Penis Man. It was about this guy with a huge cock, and he would just go around and just like split all these little ones and these little girlies. And yeah, see. And then there was like, we had a Christmas show where the same guy with the huge penis was looking for the world's loosest vagina, so he was going to find Santa, and then along the way he talked to Jesus, and then they talked to Hitler, and then they get to the North Pole. It turns out Santa's like a street pimp, and yeah, it was... He be hoeing them little ones. That's why they wore green jackets, because they made of money, kid.
That's where they wear white trim to hide the cum stains.
Look, period joke girl. I'm gonna tell you right now. If you think you can go down that dark web silk road of offensive songs, it's on my War Deer Entertainment YouTube channel, and you'll see it'll say the Toots and Tina show, and it's the Christmas show we did. Like, I think it was back in. That was almost 20 years ago. Yeah, get canceled down today, kid. Some of that shit was like, holy fuck. That is like, right, your ticket to hell shit right there. But you
definitely gonna check.
What kind of so you said you were in a lot of comedies in theater, right?
Yeah, you know, so like I don't want to stand here and talk to you about like my theater career or whatever, because I didn't have one. Like, realistically speaking, I didn't have one. When it came time, like when I graduated college, well, actually, so my mom passed away in 2005. Let's bring the mood down, you guys. Let's talk about that. Oh.
Well, I told you, my mom had a hate list, so you know, hey, you know, we're bringing the sunshine, but please continue. I'm sorry.
My mom had a hate list that I buried them with her. No, I'm kidding. So
here you go. Here's some company. I'm the king of the jungle. Oh! Okay, I'm sorry. Please.
great. Anywho.
I can't. Go, lady, go. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
Christopher, I need your back.
Wow. What happened? I'm the only sober one here. Oh, shit.
It's getting really hot in here. I can't even know. Wait.
Well, you sound like Joey Diaz. That wasn't Christopher Walken. You sound like Joey Diaz.
Oh, Jesus. So you're saying that I was even lower and gruffer than Christopher Walken, actually? Thank you. That's nice.
You sounded like Christopher Walken had something caught in his throat and needed the Heimlich. And was trying to also do an impression of Joey Diaz. Oh, y'all need Jesus. Y'all need Jesus up in here. Jesus is not in this house.
Oh my goodness.
Woo.
What the fuck were you talking about before when I was like, come on, guy?
Stoner. I don't know. Or do you really want to backtrack? I mean, we're almost to the Bigfoot land. You know, you really want to go back to the car and get the camera? Fuck it. We're almost there. Jesus Christ.
No, so my point is this. I didn't really have much of a theater career after I graduated college because my parents died and I grew PTSD. So I didn't really do much with performance after that. That is why I started to like pursue other creative outlets, essentially. So that's the long story fucking short about that. So I don't want to stand here and tell you like, yeah, I was like on off-Broadway shit and fucking like, I wasn't doing, like I was up until I graduated. Like I was on an off-Broadway stage, like in a summer program once when, whatever the fuck. But like, I graduated college and, and then, like real life hit and like fucking I had to support myself and shit. And this didn't sell it anymore. This doesn't put food on the table. The jazz hands do not put food on the table. Do not go to the
girl. I learned that shit the hard way. When I was selling ass.
Right. So if you want to go there, I can talk about the time when I was an Instagram thirst trap for like 6 months.
Yes, please. Stage is yours. All yours. Don't mind me.
It was a fucked up time. Essentially, so I had gotten my first ever office job and I was so happy to like have health insurance for the first time in the world. So and it was also the most money that I'd ever made at the time, but it still wasn't enough to support me living by myself in a 1-bedroom apartment. My boyfriend at the time did not really have any interest in moving in with me, and encouraged my independence to the point where like it was sort of the end of our relationship anyway, but like he essentially like knew about and encouraged everything that I did. And essentially what I did was I filmed myself, like masturbating and shit. And then I tried to sell it to people on Instagram. So, I never like had sex for money exactly, but like I had like, when you like start to work in this world, I guess, like it just becomes part of like the conversation, you know what I mean? Because I did end up working with photographers and other models and, stuff like that. So like, it's not big time, like, please. But I did for a little while dip my toe into that world. And I had a lot of sex with a lot of different people and did a lot of things that I didn't really want to do. But I'm not like upset about it. I don't regret that period in my life. It was something that, I was sort of driven to by desperation, but it was something that I don't necessarily regret. I feel like I tried it and it turned out to be like any other business. Like I've tried to sell my jewelry, my artwork, like my, and a bunch of different stuff that I've tried to sell. I used to have, I still have, and still do work on a side hustle called Steampunk Parliament, where I do, illustrations and I have a coloring book and, stuff like that. So, like I had already tried to do that. And that's kind of how I got into the sex world, actually, was because the steampunk community out here in Jersey, and there's actually articles written about this, including one written by me on a place called Steampunk Journal. But like there was essentially like an underground like festival sex ring that was going on. And the guy that was sort of, so like I was not involved in the sex ring, just for clarity. Like this happened before I started doing the porn stuff.
Right.
I'm happy to have not been involved in it. Like, trust me.
Yeah, speak for yourself, lady. Speak for yourself. But please continue. I'm sorry. Jesus.
Well, anyway, so like, this guy who was running the Steampunk World's Fair Festival out here in Jersey, which was, as he claimed, the largest steampunk festival in the world, which I don't know about, but it was sizable, and they had, good media. So, he had like a little reputation for himself, but he had started his business doing like sex conventions. So he had this whole side ring where he would trade sex for volunteers, like sex with volunteers, like for services and like the vendors he couldn't pay back. And some of these, volunteers didn't know they were going into these situations and were underage.
Yeah, no good, no
bad.
good.
Bad. He has never, other than his business going under for a hot 5 minutes, he has never been brought to any kind of justice about this. That I do know that for sure. So anyway, I worked for this guy. His name was Jeff Mock. I worked for this guy for like 2 or 3 years, doing art stuff. Like I didn't know anything about like the sex stuff. Like that was all separate from me. I didn't actually go to the conventions too much, for several reasons. Like I had health issues and shit like that. So, anywho, so it was after after he went under for all this shit, I found out that there was like a sexual element to like a lot of the people that I had ended up knowing through his conventions. And I was like, well, I mean, if these people are, think I'm hot, maybe I can sell them a couple pictures and make some money. Like, so that's kind of how I started going all the way back to the beginning about me being an Instagram thirst trap. So that's, like I knew a guy also who, through that world was a photographer, and he encouraged me, he had a conversation with me and told me about, what I should be, setting up online and stuff. Like he was like very interested in helping me technically like set up as a, like a porn hoe, the cam girl or whatever the shit. And I definitely did not want to cam with people. I was not interested in live stream. I'm not interested in camming with people. It is so too much effort. I wanted to just whack off on screen. Like here is like one piece of my 15-minute day that I can sell over and over again. Like that's what I was hoping for out of it. That's the only, I'm not here to like make a name for myself as a fucking porn star. So whatever, I did it. And I made some money at it. I made in 6 months, I made I don't know, I want to say like $700, maybe a little more. That's not good.
Where's Instagram? Hey, give me that money. Look, you're braver than me. I don't even like to take my shirt off at the public pool. I usually have like a t-shirt on because I'm like, Did you have a nom de plume, or what was your show name, or can you reveal that?
No, I don't know. I had like a username on Instagram. What was it? It was like I had a couple because they took my account down once. Like I got caught doing it once. Well, I forget what it was. Like Red Light Bessie was one of them. Oh, Nerdy Bessie was the first one. Nerdy Bessie. I try to be like a nerd porn person.
As someone who has heard of Pornhub but has never been on there at least twice a day, I can tell you that nerd porn, chef's kiss. So that's probably like, you know, you had broken into that niche where it was like, oh, nerdy porn, and but not, I mean, you weren't doing it with anybody else, and you were just, you know, just doing it on Instagram. That's a great story, by the way.
Did it with my boyfriend. So like there were like dicks in the pictures, you know, but like you could really
just like right now. Ah! I tell you, the jokes are not going to be good tonight, though. I had no idea what kind of rabbit hole we were going to fall down into. Well, I knew. I know, me too, because I lived out in LA for when I left the South in 2003. I moved out with a buddy to LA I stayed there for about 5 years, and tried the stand-up thing out there, and ended up doing like a once a month thing with some buddies at this little joint over there. But my main job was working at Borders Books out there, and I worked in Glendale, and then I worked at the Hollywood store. What is it? What is it? Say it.
2 years. I love it. No, I'm so happy to see another Borders person.
You worked at Borders? Which one did you work at?
I worked, well, in Jersey. I worked at one here, and then I worked at the one in Penn Station Penn Station, right next to Madison Square Garden.
Right. Okay. You know what's funny? Like that Borders, like they closed down Borders in 2011, right? They still, like in 2018, I think they still had that border sign up there at the Union Station.
I remember that. They didn't put anything up there for a long time. I remember that.
Me and my lady, we met each other at the Borders at Wall Street.
Oh,
Borders. Yeah, we were Borders in love. I tell you, it was one of those things. Like I was working at Borders in Cali, and I moved to New York, and I transferred to that store. And the very first day I was at that Borders was a store meeting was going on, right? And I saw my lady there in the middle of the crowd, and it was just like the movies. It was like she was in focus, and everybody else was just kind of like gauzy and blur around, you know? Yeah. But she actually, before that, she worked in the towers, right? And she worked at World Trade. And so the morning of 9/11, she's always late. They schedule her for like 8, 9 in the morning or whatever. She comes in at 10, but she always stays late because I don't know, she managed to keep jobs that way, but she was supposed to be there that morning when she was late, and I said, because she's always said, well, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm like, look, you can be late. I don't care, because of that one time it actually saved your life. It's like, who knows what else it's going to do, but I'm
so glad she's okay.
Yeah, she's from here. She was born and raised on the Lower East Side over there, so she's one of them tough chicks, man. She's like fuck you up, man. She's like, we were in Sunset Park once, right? And this crazy bitch comes up and starts yelling at her and her mom, because they're Chinese. There's a lot of like Asian shit going on over here, like people getting harassed and stuff. So this puta bitch comes up to her, right? And she's like, you know, and my girl like drops her bag. I'm like, oh shit! And she has like this hidden box cutter on her key ring. So she grabs that shit, and it was like, it was like West Side Story, man. She was like, I'm gonna cut a bitch. I whipped it out right there. I was like, dude, that's my baby. That's my baby. Fuck yeah. I didn't have to do nothing. Because the guy that she was with, he was in the car, and he was just like, But anyway, the borders thing was when I worked in LA, there were a lot of sex workers would come through there, and one of my buddies, she worked there. Her boyfriend knew like a couple, like kind of like mid-name people. Like if you're on Pornhub a lot, you might recognize their names. I mean, I'm never on Pornhub. I don't know anybody's names. But I met him, and there was like a little bar across the street. Me and this one lady, she did some adult movies, but she mostly was a dancer. She's real sweet chick. And, we'd have a drink across the street and I just found out they were just like, anybody that I met in that industry, they were just like the nicest people. You know what I mean? It was just like, I had heard, me and my buddy were like, hey, we're going to go to LA and we're going to go to Hollywood and Vine and pick up some hookers. And, we didn't know. That shit never was going to happen. But, and it's all weird. Like the shit you see in the movies kind of like warps your brain, to make you think about something. And then when you're actually there and living in it and you're like, wait, this is like nothing like it is. And New York's the same way too, to me, it's like, I don't know. I think I came in at a bad time when like most of the gentrification had taken root and like kind of fucked shit up. Cause I love neighborhoods. I love culture. That's why I moved up here, cause in Mississippi, not that much culture. There's like Southern culture, but you want like the rest of the world culture kind of thing. So, that winded me.
That's okay. Breathe. You got this.
I know, right? I want to learn how to do lucid dreaming. Are you into that kind of stuff? Are you into like the metaphysical or like like paranormal and shit like that?
Yes, I am. So like I am like, I guess a pagan, I guess you would consider me. I don't really like, I guess the closest like theology that I sort of believe in is Wicca. And I don't really practice anything regularly whatsoever. But like I'll go to temple sometimes or whatever. But in general, I my mother was very new agey, and I grew up meditating and stuff like that. So I definitely feel a really strange affinity to witches, and like I have a very deep interest in like the history of witches and like who was considered a witch back in the day and like what they really did with their time. And like I was definitely really into herbal medicine for a long time, and partially that was because I didn't have healthcare for periods, and because of that I now I'm on antidepressants and shit, thank God, but I didn't have that at the time. So I had to sort of teach myself herbal medicine just to treat my ills. I definitely believe that, we are like all sort of one energy, in like the broadest possible sense. I definitely don't believe like in a white guy in the sky. Sorry, I don't really, that doesn't comfort me, but that makes me scared actually. But
well, unless he's a pilot, I mean, if like an airline pilot, then I guess that's okay. But yeah, I mean, you're like pearly gates and white flowing beard. Yeah, probably not a thing. No, I don't think.
I would rather not. Like honestly, when I die, I would rather not still exist. Like I don't want to like just. Like, I feel like my energy is going to physically go back into the ground, is going to go into the living things around me and stuff like that. And in that way, I believe in reincarnation, because I feel like our energy never goes away. It just keeps getting passed on from one thing to another. And your energy can sort of be in many things, right? I don't want to think of like my parents, for example, like sitting on top of their gravestones, like waiting for me to visit them. Like that's horrifying. Right. Like the hard version of like the afterlife is just, no, I cannot handle that. Like my parents like need to be free. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather them just be, in some kind of, energetic state of bliss or whatever. Like I also feel like when you love someone in life and you invest a lot of energy into that person, like you become a part of them, right? Like, like, okay, so if you really want me to get into the philosophical shit, and you can cut me off at any point because, this isn't funny.
Lady. Let's go.
I think that like so like if you look into quantum physics a little bit, and I'm not super smart about this shit at all, but the idea that there are particles that exchange from constantly are in flux, that are like hopping between one thing and another all the time. There are particles that we cannot know exactly where they are. We just sort of guess, right? So like on some level in the microcosm, like the separateness of me and the separateness of you, or the separateness of all of us, doesn't really exist because our particles are constantly intermingling. So if you apply that to people that you love, when you put intention into someone, and you put constant love and constant care into a relationship, then that person absorbs part of you, like in a very physical manner, but is energy as well. And so I feel like that. So I feel like when I don't like the idea of my parents like sitting on their gravestones watching over me, for example, right? Like that's very creepy to me. So like but I don't like the idea that they're gone forever either. So I feel like because they loved me so much and they invested their themselves and their personality in me in a lot of very material ways, I sort of feel like I can call on their energy out of my own soul. You know what I mean? So that like when I talk to them, I can sort of just like, they're just like sitting on my shoulder, and it's like, hey guys, what's up?
That would freak me the fuck out, but I know where you're coming from with that. Like,
they're not surprising me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like waking up and my mom's there and I'm like, I was just having a sex dream, like.
You're not even dead. What are you? No. Well, my parents have been gone for like 20, 30 years at this point, right? So, but I'm right there in the same place you are. It's like, what I think is happens is like when you're born, you get pieces of you get parts of the energy from the mother and the father, right? And
whoever
because that's the initial energy that you start off with, right? And because energy can neither be created nor destroyed, it can only be changed, right? As you grow older, that energy changes as well, depending on like your experiences. Like if you experience a lot of trauma and like abuse or something like that in your childhood, your energy is there's, it's like negative, negates. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's like it makes your energy negative, right? It turns your energy negative, and that's why out of that you can become like a serial killer, or you could like be just like whatever, right? But if you got good like positive energy, you'll end up doing like positive things or whatever. But and not everything. It's not a monolith. Like you can have negative energy, but like it'll change. It can change to the point where it's positive energy, but then you could start off with positive, and it can end up being negative. But like when
people are binary like that. I believe that we have what you may consider in yourself positive and negative forces that are coexisting, and it's what you choose to focus on and how you choose to focus that energy is what makes it positive or negative to you, or to the person that it's affecting.
It's like that. It's like that energy is like clay, right? That you can mold it with the way you live your life, your thoughts and everything about you molds that energy and changes it, right? It doesn't destroy it, doesn't create it,
right?
It changes it, right? And so when you die, your energy, depending on how it's charged, will tend. I think will tend to go with the energy of the universe is all energy, right? Mm-hmm. And the way your energy jives with parts of the universe, that energy, like that's when, like I think when people see dead relatives that they loved, stuff like that, they're on some sort of the way their energies can connect to those people because maybe they had a really strong bond or something. I've seen that a lot with like grandparents. Like they really love their grandparents and then they died, and the grandparent's spirit is always there, but it's really like a connection thing you can't really understand or explain very well. But I think our energies, once our physical meat sacks are kaput, then that energy goes with other energies in the universe, and then that energy, I think maybe like that could be a reincarnation thing, like some of that energy goes back into somebody else, because there are cases of like these kids that said they've described events like hundreds of years ago to the T and had nothing to do with it at all, right? Nobody told them about it or anything like that. So
yeah,
it's fascinating.
That kind of stuff fascinates me. I love reading about that kind of stuff, and I'm definitely, that's why I consider myself a pagan, because I don't really have, I mean, like, even my hippy dippy ideas that I've cobbled together from like whatever fantasy books I've read through my fucking childhood, like, I don't think anybody has the answers. Anybody has even close to the real answers here. You know what I mean? Like, we probably can't really comprehend what the real answers are, right? Like, so,
well, no. And I don't think you actually know the answers till you're actually dead, right? I mean, and even then it might be like some sort of dream state, like where you have like a dream, but you know, you wake up, you know you dream, but you can't remember the dream. Maybe that's what death is like. It's like your energy goes somewhere, and then you go to something else, become maybe not another human, maybe you become a tree, or you become a bear, or whatever. You know, your energy goes into some living thing that is born, and you don't remember the shit that happened in between, you know? Right. I mean, it's a huge universe, right? I mean, and we're just like, we only know the neighborhood. We don't know shit about what's going on out there.
Yeah. We only know, like, our house. Yeah.
It's Beetlejuice. We're stuck in the house. We can't go out because of the sandworms.
Oh, the fucking sandworms!
I piss my neighbors off on the regular. It is it's 9:40. Can you hang out for a little longer? You gotta go, or you got a Broadway show you gotta be in?
No, I'm good. Unless you want to kick me out. It's up to you.
I'm not kicking it. I don't kick anybody off this show. Usually they're kicking and screaming to find the exit, and I'm like, yeah, you ain't going nowhere. I look. So my middle sister, I'm like super close with her, but she legitimately fears for my soul because she thinks I'm going to hell, and I'll tell you why. So I grew up Southern Baptist, right? What we call hard shell Baptist. Like, you know, it was I think it was mostly New Testament, maybe some of the Old to scare the shit out of you.
That's what the fucking Jews learned. So watch your ass.
Right. So what happened was, when I got out in the world, I believed in, like, I was Christian. You know, I got baptized, the whole 9 yards, and so. But when I started reading about a lot of stuff about, like, maybe alternate history, that sort of thing, I thought, okay, Jesus's mother, Mary, was in the garden. Right? She had a baby, but she didn't have sexual intercourse, but she met an angel in the garden. So I had this conversation with my sister. I said, dude, Jesus is an alien hybrid. And she was like, what? What is this? Madness? I said, wait, hear me out. All right? So Mary had a baby but didn't have sex, artificial insemination, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus had these magical powers. He could walk on water. He could turn water into wine. He could do all this stuff. Sounds kind of like, you know, somebody from out of town's got some extra skills. Came in. You know? So the garden is a lab, right? Because Adam and Eve were in a garden too. Adam and Eve is the missing link in evolution.
Jesus and Mother Mary were not in the Garden of Eden.
No. Mary met the angel in the garden, not in the Garden of Eden, but another garden, right? And,
what different garden?
Yeah, it was a different garden. But in my mind, that makes me think, okay, Garden of Eden, Mary in the garden. Some experimentations going on. Gardens are labs. I'm thinking either it it was either extraterrestrial life that came to Earth and seeded this planet with humans, or there was an advanced race long before Bible times that brought about the next generation of humans, and then they died off, or they got off planet and said, fuck it, it's all yours now, bitches. We're going to Pluto, kid! Woo, woo!
I think that's what happened to the dinosaurs. Yeah? They just, like, boarded ships and took the fuck off. Like,
they pieced out, man. They got in their little dinosaur spaceships. It's like...
They had to be huge ships, though, let's be honest.
Yeah, they weren't tiny, so they need some room, especially the Brontosaurus. But yeah, one of my favorite cartoons, it's a Far Side cartoon, and it's like the real reason the dinosaurs died, and it's all dinosaurs sitting around smoking cigarettes. That's because cigarettes killed them off.
That's hilarious.
And it's just pictures of like T-Rexes and stuff with like cigs hanging out. Just, I don't know. I've always just been fascinated, like, where we come from and shit like that. I mean, like, I've read all kinds of theories. I read the theories about the Anunnaki, who came from Nibiru. Apparently, Nibiru is like the 9th or 10th planet, if you still consider Pluto a planet, like a big-ass planet. And I just don't think that was just like, the Earth's 6,000 years old, I just can't wrap my brain around that. That's like, flat Earth people saying, yep, that's... Earth's flat, and you're like, no, man. That seems like you're just trying to pick a fight when you say shit like that. You're just.
Hey, sorry about that. My phone just dropped.
Oh, drunk ass drinking that hobo apple wine. I'll be riding the rails now. Hobo Bess. Where's your stick with the rag on the end of it? Hobo Bess. They used to sell hobo bread. I used to work at Trader Joe's, and they sold hobo bread there, and it was just like this tarry ass shit. And I'm like, yeah, it tasted good, but it was just kind of weird. So I don't know. I used to have people
hobo bread? Made of garbage. I don't understand. What is hobo bread?
Tears, there's some boot dirt, might be some chewing gum, tears, boot dirt, some chewing gum, I don't know, man.
God.
It doubled as like moisturizer. No, I don't think that's true. But do you wonder, like, where we came from? Like, do you think or are you just like, I don't give a shit?
I wonder. Yes, I have often wondered. Yes, where we came from.
But you're not like one of these, like, the library montage where you're on the microfiche, and you're reading and you're like, and then mathematics.
So. Fuck you a little bit, yeah.
When I worked at I've seen, because when I worked at Borders, I would check out all those books in like the what did they call it, like the David Icke books. I've read a lot of David Icke books. Have you ever read any of David Icke stuff?
No, I'm not familiar.
Oh, he's fun. So this is how David Icke works. So he tells you all this shit, all this conspiratorial shit that's going on in the government, and it's just like, most of it is like, fuck, man, what the hell? Like, when Donald Rumsfeld, before he was the Secretary of Defense, he worked for a company that made aspartame, and then he got into government, and he made it somehow to where aspartame became legalized to use as a sweetener. And basically it depresses the fuck out of you, and aspartame is just poison. So anyway, that was in one of David Icke's books, right? He explains this shit, and you're like, fuck, and then you look it up somewhere else, you're like, god damn, he's right. The dude worked for this and this. But
what
then,
do you mean about aspartame? Sorry, go on.
That's the devil's titty juice right there. You drinking it? You're suckling from the Satan's teat. That's what it is. You're a teat suckler.
Shit for breakfast.
I don't know if the shit works. Fuck it. You only live once. But anyway, so he would talk about all this conspiratorial shit, and you're like, damn, man, this is a lot of knowledge. And this was like around this was when Bush was president, so it was a lot of shit about Bush and like Skull and Bones and his dad being like a blood drinker, and you know the fucking what is it the shit where Alex Jones went and they had that huge fucking wooden owl out there, Bohemian Grove, like he was like a bunch of shit. So it was, all that shit was in there, like fuck. But then he starts talking about, and yes, the Queen of England is a reptilian, and you're like, God damn it. This shit was so good. You got some fucking slee stacks in there from Land of the Lost, motherfucker. What the hell, man? That's like somebody telling you, like, we've discovered the origins of humans. Yes, they were actually from, you know, so-and-so and so-and-so, and they were mice people, and they had long tails, and they liked cheese. You're like, oh, fuck you, man. You had me up until the mice. So, the cautionary tale there is careful what you read. But he has some pretty good, like, stuff in there.
That's cool. That's really cool. I honestly don't think we know shit. I like looking back at like the origins of like, you know, civilization, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I'm interested in anthropology and shit because I'm a feminist. So I was curious to know like where like, you know, women doing domestic things began, you know? And I don't, you know, nobody really knows nothing for sure, but you know, it looks like agricultural revolution on that one. Anyway, but yeah, so like I look back at that kind of stuff, and I was definitely interested in like astronomy and like the Big Bang Theory and stuff like that. But like, you know, as far as like, you know, what happened before humans were around on Earth, like I don't know if I care too hard right now about that. But that's cool.
You might if like some actual like evidence came out, you might be like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I totally dig that. I don't have one particular
strong belief about anything. We could have been farted from like, you know, God's asshole at any point in history, and we wouldn't know. Nobody would know.
And the Lord said, and it was stinky. So that's some blaspheming. That's what my friends down south say. You doing that blaspheming right there? That's straight ticket to hell shit right there. But there was a time. I want to say there was a time long ago, like way back in history, that actually women were running the show, and somehow men got a hold of the controls. They got the remote somehow and flipped the switch. But you know, I like to think of like what those times could have been if, you know, to see women running everything, you know. I think that'd be badass as shit. It's probably efficient, you know. Motherfuckers be out there like, okay.
You know, there are models. Like if you look into it, there are societies that are sort of like relatively untouched by the Industrial Revolution that still exist in matriarchies, especially in South America. But, you know, like, you know, I'm not the kind of feminist that thinks that like women are superior. I do not believe that women are superior to men. I do believe that there are, you know, societal injustices that are wrought upon women that are not wrought upon men. And I don't believe that, you know, gender is binary. I certainly don't believe that gender is binary at all. So, you know, I believe that if women ran the world, it would be completely fucked up in a completely different way. Okay. I mean, if women exist today as a relative category of humans, if we got together and kicked out dudes and took all your jobs and just took over, it would be different, but I don't know that it would be better. Women are crazy, and
well, I mean, you in this day and age with you know, capitalism just like permeating every little crack and fissure in the world. You know, I don't think either men nor women would be able to overcome like the greed factor and stuff like that, you know. But in the olden times, before you had like, you know, all these, you know, like social media and any kind of communication where you basically you sent, I don't know, maybe they sent three-eyed crows. I don't know how they did it in the way back. I mean, they didn't have the Pony Express, but I don't know how they sent, like, I guess they got a squire or something. Young squire, send this to the village next door. Dun, 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 dun. You know, some Monty Python shit. But I mean, like, I think a difference. I mean, there's do you like Monty Python?
Love.
1, 2, 5, 3, sir. 3. Run away. Yeah, Holy Grail is like one of my favorites of all time. I've seen that so many times. They used to have midnight movies at this place called at the Silver Screen down on the Gulf Coast, and they had Rocky Horror Picture Show. They had I think they had Holy Grail was one of them, and Heavy Metal. You ever seen that movie?
Oh shit! Yes, I have. That's awesome.
I know that music in there is. I am a big rock and roll head. I was a rock DJ back in the 90s, and I grew up on like 60s, 70s, and 80s like classic rock. Oh my god, that movie is so good.
Yeah.
But those movies back, we were talking like early, like 80. And then a few years in was just like, I mean, you're talking about The Shining, that was like 81. American Werewolf in London, that was 81. You like The Thing, I think that was 81 too. John Carpenter's The Thing. Some heavy hitters, right?
Yeah.
But you know, like, I don't even know what the point was. Why were we talking about that? Fuck you, drugs. I'm kidding, baby. I was kidding. You know I'm gonna get some more later. Shh. I love you too. I'm talking to my edibles over there because they're in the fridge. I like to keep them chilly. You know, they always cool, but you know. What kind of? This is a personal question. What kind of drugs do you like? What do you like? Booze? You like the apple wino booze? I like that. What else you got going on there? You got this. You have a particular kind of smoky that you like? Like indica, sativas. What do you like?
I love indica. Can I tell you that my favorite strain I've ever tried, and I just tried it recently because it's the first I've ever heard of it. It's called Hippie Crippler.
Ooh.
And that shit will knock you on your ass.
Is it mostly indica? It's kind of like a big, like, mostly indica?
But its THC level is like very close to 30%, which is really hard to get on the street. It's really hard to get that high of a THC level without like having a med card in New Jersey right now. So that was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I want to fuck myself up so I can get that card, kid. I ain't even lying. I want the medical grade. I'm tired of playing with crayons. I want some magic markers.
And we're gonna have stores and shit set up. I think that's what people are saying.
Bodega's already got like the lower grade stuff that they're selling in the bodegas. Like you ever see the vans, the pot vans that go around and they have all the wacky colors. They give you like they got like lollipops and shit. You ever seen those?
Like not like an ice cream truck.
It is. It's like an ice cream truck kind of, but it doesn't have the window. It's just like it's a van, and you open it up. You know, it's New York, man. You open the van. Hey, look at this. I got watches. Hey, I got the candy you like. Hey,
I haven't lived in New York since 2012, so you know, like we got weed delivered, but it wasn't like it is now. Oh my god, like you could get like maybe 4 or 5 different kinds, but now I have a menu of like 10 different fucking kinds. And I have to look them up before I decide. Yeah, totally.
Look, back in the day, the struggle was real. Back then, the struggle was real. I mean, and that's New York. I mean, in Mississippi, man, you basically had to you had to go, you know, be satisfied with the Alabama ditchweed unless somebody went out of town. and they brought the shit back. Like last week I was talking to Rob. We were talking about this guy I knew. He went out to Colorado, and he came back with some nuggets. And we was like, we used to smoking that weak ass shit, and we smoked that fucking Colorado shit, man. We were like, we had to write our names in our underwear so we would remember that shit. It fucked us up. Holy fucking shit! God, thank God for Waffle House, man. That place saved us on like so many times. We were just basically crawling to the Waffle House, and but yeah, and then I got to LA. This was before it was legal in LA. And you're making I was meeting people behind the El Pollo Loco to buy an eighth of something, and now and then finally I got hooked up with a dude that delivered. I love this guy. Oh, he was the coolest kid. Big, tall dude. He's about 6'5", and every time he came over, man, we were always talking about conspiracy theories and shit. He was always like, yeah, man, you see them chemtrails up in the sky today, man? I was like, fuck yeah, man. It looked like a fucking checkerboard up there. He's like, I know, right? What kind of shit they giving us today? Or it was like some sort of alien conspiracy. Because that's how it was. He'd bring the shit, right? And see, I don't know names. I don't give a fuck. I always just trust my guys. Is it good shit? Is it gonna get me high? Okay, I don't need to know this is like Scooby Crabapple, Kush from the mountains of Endor. This is some.
I asked now. I'm schooled. I know everything.
Yeah. I mean, I just want. I always tell people. I always my guy. I always say, look, if you can find me a sativa. Mostly sativa hybrid, because I like more of the head high to be productive and shit. And then he'll do that. But then he'll come up to me like, yeah, man, here's some of this purple Urkel smoke. This thing was flown in from Portugal via Mars. I'm like, dude, is it
actually purple sativa? This is sativa. It's a hybrid, but sativa dominant. Anything with purple in it is sativa dominant.
You know what's funny? I like to play The Sims, right? And they have a mod for The Sims where you can be a drug dealer in The Sims. It is so cool. You make so much money. Yeah, and it's a mod. You not only sell weed, right? You can buy it from a dude. He's your distributor, right? You go get it from him. You could do that. Or you have a place by your house. You can make you could have a grow house. You could grow the shit yourself. And oh my God, I was like, damn, this Sims is but the Sims had the porno mod too on there too. So you're but the weed thing was really cool. I made so much money on that. I wasted so much of my life on that game. It was probably not a good thing. Anyway. I got nothing else. I'm out of gas and I'm out of booze. I gotta go get some more booze. We've been going 2 hours. I think that's good. I want to make an announcement, but I also want to ask you at the same time. So next Thursday, it's going to be kind of weird because we're just going to have a hodgepodge of people just kind of coming in and out for Festivus. We're having a Festivus show. Because it's the 23rd, and that's Festivus. And if you'd like to attend, I will send you a link to it. I think I'm going to do it through StreamYard, the one with the duck thing in the corner. Huh? And it's just going to be like, hey, motherfuckers, woo-hoo, yeah, you look stupid. All right, and then you drop out or whatever. Or you stay as long as you want, that kind of thing. So if you're down, let me know. We're doing that a week from tonight. And cool. We're going to start around 7. And then just go as long as people are still hanging out. It's going to be like a party, And then when the last drunk is there, we kick them out. And, and then we close up shop for the night. So, so tell people where they can find you. I put goodies down in the description for them to find you on Twitter and stuff. Just tell people what's going on with you right now.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. So you can find me at Millennialsplaining on Twitter. That's where I'm most active. You can find all my other links, all my links at millennialsplaining.com. I have a podcast. I have a YouTube channel. Mostly my YouTube channel is the most updated right now. Please support me if you can, because I'm trying to move to a cheaper apartment and actually like have money to live, which would be nice. So hopefully that'll happen in the new year, and then I'm going to start doing live streams. So definitely, follow me for more content and such and such. Yeah. So if you want to donate to me, I've got listed there like Venmo, PayPal, buy me a coffee, and also Ko-fi. So there's all the things. Anyway, so thank you. Yeah, thanks very much. Did you want me to sing you a song? Because I teased you like 3 times. I can sing you a song. It's a parting song if you wish.
Wait a minute. That would be delightful to quote Tony Randall. I would love to hear that if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah,
please.
Absolutely. What should I sing though? Do you want a Christmas song? Or you want?
What's that song? You're a fine motherfucker. Won't you back that ass up? What's that? Is that? No, I'm kidding. That's sing that. Say, wait, you're Jewish, right? You can't do a Christmas song. Don't you turn into like a bat or something if that happens? I don't know how that works.
I sing Christmas songs. I got paid to sing at a church for a year, so whatever.
I'll leave it dealer's choice. Whatever you want to sing, just surprise me.
All right, let's go Christmas. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Once again, as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Merry Christmas.
That was beautiful, baby. That was really, really good. So you save some of that sauce for when we do ad lib karaoke, and I think we're gonna have us a fine old time.
Awesome.
I appreciate you coming on. I'm so glad. Bess is one of my Indie News Network sisters in faith and hope and goodness and love and light and shining objects and nothing sharp, because you might hurt yourself if you run into it by accident. So I know, right? Look, Noli D in the chat. Wait a minute, I got to put this up for you because she's giving you some mad props. So she said, "Woo, that was hot as fuck." That Noli getting all country as shit. She's like, "Shit, fire! That's the best motherfucking singing I've heard." What? Fuck you too, motherfucker. That chick was good. That was really beautiful. We may if you show up for Festivus, we may get you to do a little song, but whatever you feel comfortable with, because it's a festive time. I have my Festivus poll over here. I'm not going to be doing feats of strength because I'm a little weak. But if people want to do that, break their own stuff, that's fine. I don't care. Just don't break my shit. But the airing of grievances is what is most important. And I think that's going to be pretty much 98% of the show, because nobody's going to give a shit about feats of strength or a fucking poll. So, airing of grievances. That's what it's all about. Anyway, I'm going to keep rambling. I love you, sissy. Don't you go leaving me. I'm all alone in this shithole. But seriously, if you want to do the open mic, you get some material and you're like, fuck it, I'll go to New York. Let me call this asshole and we'll do it together, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll have to get very drunk. nervous
Duh.
issues.
Ain't nobody doing this shit sober. Fuck, man. That's a suicide mission. Hang on a second. I'll say goodbye to you proper. Let me say goodnight to these knuckleheads. Like I said, next week, Thursday night, the 23rd, we're doing Festivus for the rest of us. It'll probably be some bizarre shit as usual. That's how we usually do the holiday shit around here. Coming up tonight, I believe Lucky and Stever are doing live music on their shows tonight on YouTube. Check that out. Also, I think this is Thursday night. I don't know what else is on. A lot of our family is on doing streams tonight. And then tomorrow night, we got my buddy Reefer After Dark around 10-ish. God knows what he'll be doing. I'm sure he'll let us know. It's going to be fun. But thank you, Bess. I appreciate you. Love you. Kisses. XXXOOO. And I love everybody that was here tonight. Charlie Brown's Rebellion. Noli D. Indie News Network. Love to see you here, buddy. Nightbot doesn't get the credit that Nightbot deserves. Polly Singleton. Oh no, that was a porn site. Never mind. That was like the Vark Tech. Don't hit the Vark.tech. That's like strippers if you don't want that shit. Who else was here? Steve Cutler live. Like I said, man, this is really not a good idea to do this drunk. Reef Breland. Love you, brother. And thanks for coming out. We're going to do this again next week. All kinds of shows. Indie News Network. Check everybody out. There's a link tree for Indie News Network. I think that's below in the description too. Check out everybody. Bess and Noli D. Those are my sisters right there. I love them very much. Have a great holiday if you're doing some shit this weekend. And we'll see you on the flip side. And as Mom always used to say, watch out for the nuts and wash that ass.